Hey everyone, happy Labor Day. It is 9:20 p.m. on a Wednesday, and I'm recording this from my iPhone because my webcam broke on my Mac because I dropped it. Boo hoo! And yeah, let me know if you guys like this video, and I'll start to do Facebook Live or YouTube Live videos, which I don't know how to do YouTube Live videos yet. Nah, I can figure it out, but I'm just gonna make a video right now. Okay, I want to read you guys a book of a page or a paragraph from the New Human Rights Movement, a book I really like, which studies basically the systematic approach to capitalism, the market economy, and how we basically have developed from a hunter-gatherer society to what we know today as capitalism, or the economy. Furthermore, this is a book from, again, the New Human Rights Movement. Furthermore, we should also reflect on how this ever reinforced competitive fetish has generated a culture obsessed with war and conflict in entertainment and play. This means that basically people say that we're programmed to be competitive or have competition, and this book argues that competition is created by the environment. It is not genetic, it is not inherent. It simply is a byproduct of the environment you're in. If you're in a hunter-gatherer society where you have to rely on other people to help you out, to eat, have clothing, to live, you're not competitive. But if competition is taught to you, is reinforced through your environment, boom, yes, you have competition. And this is about how it's reinforced through war and conflict in entertainment and play. Back to the book. Competition and violence is not only a featured plot of every film, TV show, and video game, but it also underscores the extreme popularity of competitive sports. I am not saying that such themes shouldn't be of interest in general, but the tendency or obsession appears extreme. The belief in a competitive society preys on our natural gravitation toward group inclusion, exacerbating our divisive propensity to seek in and out groups. So obviously we want to be included, so we go to the football game. I knew a lot of people who were not interested in football at Virginia Tech, but they would come to the football games and even stay the whole time, even though they're so bored after 4 or 5 hours of all of this stuff. Setting the stage for winners and losers and ultimately bigotry. So, when you have competition, you have a winner and a loser, which people like to be a part of. I think people even they'd rather be a part of losing than be on the out group, be out of the competition, because at least you feel you have a team, at least you feel like you lost together. And I think the group inclusion is very, maybe genetic to a sense, in that we do well in groups. As a civilization, we've only had farming. That's a great thing, this book. We've only had the Neolithic Revolution, which was the change from, I guess, hunter-gatherer, so we all kind of were in a pack and we just went from A to B, just trying to survive, to the Neolithic, which essentially is the invention of farming. You can tell I'm a great scientist, by the way. You should listen to me. But when we went to farming, one guy could create enough food for the whole town instead of everyone having to work together to feed everyone. And so since then, we basically have had the time and capacity to create money, to create things we don't really need, iPhone cases or iPhones, instead of concentrating on, I guess, the main hierarchy of needs: food, shelter, water, things like that. Back to the book. Moreover, our competitive orientation also implicitly justifies the state of the world as it is, including ongoing imperialism, poverty, inequality, and other injustices. It is no wonder that the U.S. Pentagon actually spent almost $7 million between 2002 and 2015 to fund patriotic displays at football and other games in an effort to boost military recruitment and support for national defense. In effort, these popular sporting rituals help assist social control. Ironically, this is also the same kind of confused thinking that has conditioned many in poverty to fawn over billionaires. So we worship the rich, right? We worship being in this group, either being in the group, trying to go up the ladder all the way up to the billionaires, or we worship these billionaires as they have achieved something. They have worked harder. They have this, ambiance of knowledge and flattery and know where to go in life. back to the book. Many admire the rich as though they are beacons of social success to which all should aspire, yet it is statistically impossible for the vast majority ever to achieve this position. Boom. Because, again, what do most billionaires take advantage? They take advantage of the hierarchy. The Waltons, the richest family, take advantage of all those people working minimum wage. And, all those other capitalists, a lot of any producer usually has stuff outsourced to China, so they take advantage of those low wages. And yes, that's not true for every situation. Elon Musk, I don't know if that's true. I can't think of it as per much, but I see what it's saying. Like, the capitalist nature enforces this hierarchy that someone has to stay at the lowest level, right? And I believe this book is going more into, we can be decentralized. We can each have our cake. We're rich enough and smart enough to have that in at least America. I think he's arguing the world, though. Where was we? Theorist Antonio Gramsci, I don't know if that's his name, who formed the concept of cultural hegemony, perhaps best expressed the idea of social domination by influencing the thoughts, behavior, and expectations of general society, thus conditioning them to support the worldview of the ruling class. Brilliantly said. In doing so, they tend to support the mechanisms and institutions that actually oppress them. Brilliant. So you want to become Bill Gates? Well, then you need to work your ass off, pay the college, go under the student debt, and then try your best to work yourself up the social ladder while reinforcing these structures that oppress you, that put you in the student debt, that, make, Goldman Sachs, rip you off, that, put you in this huge credit card debt, that make you, take out a home loan. I don't know too much about banking, but I like that in that it reinforces this hierarchy that you must climb instead to get to, the golden point, the star on top of the Christmas tree, instead of saying, hey, I don't need this hierarchy, I can be happy without it. And I think that's where we're going. I think we're moving to, hey, we're rich and smart enough where we can all be happy in the system. No one needs to be oppressed. Maybe in the past that was true. We did not have enough wealth to go around. But if we definitely start to rethink things and probably demolish this system that is a huge hierarchy where these wealthy are making way too much money, we can get off that. And I think that's a great piece about this book. I'm not paid to put ads for this book, but if you like this video, I would love it if you became a monthly contributor to my Patreon page. I'm mainly focusing on my podcast, and I'm definitely looking at, I guess I'll do Facebook Live when I do these podcasts, but I really like this book. I'm trying to read more. I watch a lot of YouTube, a lot of Chris Hedges. He got me into this book, but this book is written by Peter Joseph, and Peter Joseph is a pretty cool guy. He's the leader of the Zeitgeist movement, but the whole thing about the Zeitgeist movement is not to have leaders, but it's all about rethinking basically a whole economic structure, which is tied, a whole socio-economic structure. So rethinking how we do everything, and that, we don't need to have a hierarchy. We should just have a flat structure where, we don't really have political leaders. We just have everyone working together to facilitate all our needs, because we are all one, baby. We are all together. And once we start falling for this divide and conquer and work outside the system, that's what the media does. It divides and conquers us on these social issues, these gay rights, transgender rights, abortion, things you can argue for days on, and you should. But the main structure is never critiqued. Whether you go left, right, Republican, Democrat, the main structure is never critiqued. It's never demolished. And whenever, there's no way, as Chris Hedges says, to vote against Goldman Sachs, to vote against ExxonMobil. And that is what the system is now using to stay alive. They're dividing the left, who wants to destroy the system, I'll call them the Bernie-crats, and the right that wants to usurp the system, which is the Trump-crats, the Trump train, the MAGA team. And they're using this division that, since it's the left and since it's the right, they're using that division so that they can't come together, and they're using that to stay alive. So it's becoming more and more clear that, we're all similar, I think. And that division is very interesting, because I don't know if we've ever come to that time before, where I think we've just had, people a few people wanted to destroy the system, but it was so overwhelming this time that, Clinton had to at least rig the primary, not, rig, but, at least influence, with Barack Obama's help, the Democratic Party. And then Trump came to power because nobody likes the establishment anymore. And if at least you pay fealty to everyone's hate of the establishment, everyone will just go to you automatically on the Republican side. So, the corporate establishment electorally is hanging on by their fingertips. And this time they kind of got lucky in that they elected a corporate fascist. They elected someone who's in the pocket of corporations because he's a big CEO. And we'll see, though. I don't think they'll go quietly in the night. These billion-dollar corporations aren't just going to let go and say, okay, people, we're going to give the power back to you. Goldman Sachs is going to say, we're going to stop lobbying all these guys. But I love this book. I love where we're going. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to end this video.